Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Take Two Footy, and this year I have set myself the challenge to visit 52 football grounds in 2024. That means I've got to be averaging one football ground every single week, and today we are going to stop number 4. Stop number 4 is a place that has a little bit of a special place in my heart. So I grew up in Catterick Garrison, and this was one of the clubs that I used to go to pretty regularly as a youngster, and it is Darlington Football Club. So today we are heading to Darlington Football Club, who have a very long and rich history, but also a really sad one too. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background on the club. So as I said before, I grew up in Catterick Garrison, which was just round the corner from Darlington. And as a youngster, we used to get really cheap tickets and we used to go and watch them in their original ground and then in the ground that kind of destroyed the club. More on that coming up. Tonight, Darlington are taking on Scunthorpe at home in the Vanarama Northern League. So Darlington are currently not on a good run of form. As you can see, they're struggling. And by comparison, Scunthorpe are doing pretty well. So I don't know whether we're going to see a win tonight, but let's see what happens. For those of you who aren't familiar with Darlington Football Club and their history, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson. And yeah, if it's one that you're not familiar with, definitely stay tuned. Don't skip this bit because it's a little bit weird and a little bit wild. Formed in 1983, Darlington Football Club was a founding member of the Northern League. They played out of Feetham's until 2003, when the club moved across town to a 27,000-seater ground. I would love to tell you that what followed was a series of exciting times, big games and fairy tale wins. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. We're going to take things back to 1999, and a businessman called George Reynolds became the chairman of Darlington Football Club. Reynolds came in and immediately started flashing the cash with lavish spends and even trying to sign Gaza at one point. Reynolds moved Darlington from their home ground of Feetham's to the new £20 million stadium in 2003, calling the new ground the Reynolds Arena. I think that says a lot about the man. At the time Darlington were in Division 3, they did manage to attract 11,000 fans to the first game at the new stadium. However, the numbers quickly dwindled. Later in 2003, things got really messy. Reynolds was in personal debt and he had also been taking loans out on the football club. At the point of Reynolds finally going into administration, it was rumoured that the club was in up to £4 million worth of debt. Here's a clip that shows you a little bit more about this man.
All the slabbers in a group, you know? So what I do, I find out where they live and I go to their house about 2:20 in the morning, because you always catch them in at that time, knock on the door, and they're giving it, oh, I don't know what to do with it, I'll ring the police.
After going into administration, things spiralled for Darlington. There were points deductions, relegations, and years of struggles. The club eventually became fan-owned and the fans claimed back their football club. They cleared the debt and they rebuilt from Division 9. The club sold the ground and agreed a ground share with local club Bishop Auckland. Fast forward to Boxing Day 2016 and the Quakers were finally able to move back to Darlington. They moved into Blackwell Meadows and over the following years were able to take this ground and really make it their own. And that's kind of where we get to now, and that is where we will be heading tonight. Tonight's game is played at home at Blackwell Meadows. Right then, we are off to Darlington. So I actually train and I have started working in Darlington as well. So I'm heading down there, got a little bit of work to do in my new office that I'm setting up. I'm going to do a training session, get some food, and then head off to the ground. So I'll take you guys with me, show you a little bit of the behind the scenes. And yeah, hopefully we see a win tonight because it is wet and it is cold in the northeast of England tonight. So we've just made it to the ground. It is a bit wet, a bit muddy, a bit miserable. However, the rain has briefly stopped. So I'm going to get the big coat on. I'm going to go show you a little bit around and then get ready for the game. Well, that was a disaster. I've just got back to Durham and yeah, as you may have seen from the clips, the game got postponed. So we got to the ground about 7:25. The game was due to kick off at 7:45. And the first thing I heard once I got out of the car was whispers of it's off, it's off. So they'd let like 500 fans in, then they closed the turnstiles, then they were going to call the game off. Then they decided they were going to have another pitch inspection, so everyone was just hanging about outside. And as you can imagine, people weren't too happy about it. And eventually they made an announcement about 7:30 saying the game has been postponed, waterlogged pitch. And yeah, people weren't too happy. So I did get myself a pin badge and I got myself a scarf. I'm counting this still as football ground number 4 of 52 because technically I still went there. I still visited it. I will go back at some point and watch a game. But yeah, a little bit of a frustrating one. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you still learned a little bit about Darlington and the club itself and enjoyed the video anyway. Hopefully, episode number 5 will be a little bit more successful. I have no idea where we went. I'm just so grateful that Darla was a local one. I'd be so gutted if I'd travelled hours and it was postponed. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Thank you for the support. Keep liking, subscribing, sharing, and let's see where this crazy journey takes us next.